What's up, guys? It's Jermain, and welcome back to another brand new episode of It's Not That Deep. What are y'all mad about today? Me? Two things. One, yellow jackets. Feel like I don't really have to explain why, and I get it. It happens every year in the summertime. They're about to die off or whatever they do at the end of the summertime. It's happening, but they're very present, they're very aggressive, and they're very all over the place. Like, I can't even be in traffic at a stoplight with my window rolled down without being attacked by one. And I'm not one of those people that y'all try to pretend to be. Oh, it's just a blah blah blah, it's nature, so on and so forth. Get away from me quickly, please. You have the entire world. Literally, you have more of the sky than I think man has ever even been able to touch, and yet you choose to be in my window inside of my car. I don't understand that. Second thing, number two, gas. Specifically, this construct that I have in my head that I can only use two types of gas, and that's Speedway and Shell. So I actually don't live around any Speedway or Shell either. So having to travel to get gas all the time is starting to be a little bit annoying. But I have this theory in my head that all other gas is bad because I had a Grand Am, an O2 Grand Am a few years ago, and I got some BP gas, and right after I got that BP gas, my fuel pump went out. So now I just don't trust anything. So now I'm mad that I gotta travel across town just to get gas. But outside of that, did y'all do some self-care this past week? I'm either super proud of you or I'm squinting my eyes. You know which one. Anyway, so I recently discovered the art of resilience, right? And I'm actually obsessed with the topic and the goal and the challenge of it all. It's new, it's fresh, and if there's one thing about me, I like a good something to obsess over. Pause. But yeah, you ever realize something didn't break you, but it definitely bent you out of shape? That's what I like to call the rubber band method, right? Stay with me now, follow along. It's a repetitive motion. Life stretches you out, you bounce back, not always fast, not always pretty, but essentially you return to center eventually. And lately, I've been trying to shorten that stretch distance and bounce back time for me. Because resilience is a term that's thrown around like any other synonymous words to strong, but nobody talks about how extreme that shit is. Like being pulled in 10 directions, mentally spiraling, and then waking up the next day and you're just like, okay, back to work. Resilience is a brutal practice. It's a method. I've been working on mine. I call it the rubber band method. Something throws me off. I stretch, I breathe, I come back because I'm not trying to snap, metaphorically, of course, I think. But I'm just trying to return to my natural self quicker each time something stretches me. So speaking of stretch marks, something we all love and cherish, a reminder that life was lived, right? That's what they are. I use that term to talk about the experience of being resilient. Okay, so you ever just get pulled out of your natural state all of a sudden? Off center. 1 second you're good, just cruising through life, and then boom, something happens. No Angela. It could really be anything. It could be a bad news, a loss, a bad news. It could be bad news. It could be a loss, a sudden loss, because those are two different things. Don't argue with me. It could just be a shift in energy. Hell, even something good that catches you off guard can throw you off balance. But suddenly you're pulled, your rubber band is now stretched. Congrats, or condolences, whichever applies. You're not broken, you're just stretched a little bit. That's how I would describe the beginning stages, right? Those moments that pull you away from center. And if you don't know how to catch it, how to regulate it, or even how to identify it, you'll just stay stretched out for way too long. I mean, you can eventually lead to breaking, and that's not good, at all. And that's what this episode is about, because this method that I've been working on, I thought for a long time, resilience meant I was supposed to just hold it together. Like, just GRIT, grit through it all. Be strong, be unfazed, so on and so forth. But the truth is, resilience is a practice. You're not Barry Bonds right off the bat, no matter how much you want to be. You got to crawl before you walk. It's a recovery system, resilience is. It's how fast I can notice the stretch and make my way back to me. And I'm learning, the faster I can get honest about what it is that's causing this pull, the faster I can stop living like I'm still stuck in the tension. Because these days, I really don't want to be stressed out for days and weeks, emotionally unavailable to myself. Like, I've done that. I've been there. I want to recover quicker. And that's why I've been obsessed with this idea of like this rubber band method, because like, it's like I access, I breathe, make a decision, and come back. That's the goal, because some stretches do leave marks. Let's be real. They change you. They leave a bit of residue behind. They pull something out of you. They don't go away very easily, but it's all surface level, right? Cosmetic. They don't really matter. What really matters is what's underneath all of that at your core. You still have elasticity. You're still strong. You're still sturdy, right? So do we aim to avoid it? No, we don't. It's our responsibility to ourselves, I've learned, to know how to become exactly what it is that you want and how to come home and get back to yourself again. It's our responsibility to make a decision. We take that ownership. I've had to stop myself in my mind from going down dark paths when issues and inconveniences arise. Like, it's almost like we don't have time for this thought right now. Come back to it later. We got shit to do. I've been really catching myself lately, lingering too much on something, lingering too long on something, in that stretched out mode. Like when you're just stressed, anxiety, the feeling, stress, anxiety, fear of losing control. And then I'll ask myself two questions. Number one, can I do anything about it? Can I do anything about this right now specifically? Can I actively change the outcome? If the answer is no, then I'm not going to allow myself to stress out about it any longer, because I trust myself and my track record enough to believe if there can be, or if there could have been something done about it, I would have already done it by now, or already would have had the plan in motion. I can't beat myself up over what I can't control. I mean, I can, I have, but I don't want to live that experience anymore at all. So then you start to uncover the power of the pool, right? So a couple nights ago, I got out the shower and I guess I was just like, it was the end of my playlist. So random songs just started playing on shuffle. And if you have Apple Music, Apple Music does not have a good shuffle algorithm. Like, they just play whatever they want to play, for real. But anyways, I'm making a grilled cheese and turkey sandwich, and the song When We Were Young by Adele came on, right? Okay. So I'm vibing. It's a good song. So I have this thing where I will literally listen to music and I can imagine myself exactly back in the moment when that music was released. So I'm thinking about 2016, singing along to the song, minding my business, just making my grilled cheese. And out of nowhere, like, things just started happening with my eyes. And like, not a little drizzle, like a full-blown thunderstorm. Like, I didn't know what was going on. But it wasn't sadness. No, like it not exactly, I guess I should say. It was like this emotional flashback. I was 20 years old when that song came out, and I just instantly transported to who I was back then, where I was, what I was dealing with, what I was carrying, what I was trying to survive, right? These are the thoughts that I'm making as my sandwich is browning, right? And for the first time in a very long time, I just stopped and I thought, I really was doing the best I could with what I had. I took the hand of cards I was dealt and played the hand to the best of my abilities. And that realization cracked something open, because I've been, so hard on myself for so long, as we all are, holding ourselves to these impossible standards, never giving ourselves room to be young, to be messy, or just to be in progress. But in that moment, grilled cheese nearing completion, I was like, damn, I owe myself an apology, not a small one either, but a big apology for not recognizing how far I've come, for never acknowledging that my survival was a flex, right? For never pausing to be proud of the version of me who kept going, even when it would have been so easy to stop. And I watched people around me in the same situation just give up, right? So resilience isn't about bouncing back. Sometimes it's about looking back and saying, you know what? You made it and I see you now. Proceed. That gave me so much confidence to not sweat the now, to stop sweating the future and just everything I say I want to do, to give myself and other people more grace and patience, to fucking trust myself, to be honest. Like, I've made it this far, consistently bouncing back like a rubber band to life's continuous stretch exercises. You know, I have faith that, God willing, I continue this life with this set of skills, that I'll be just fine, right? Because that version of me, the one that Adele unlocked for a second, I guess, the 20-year-old Jermain in 2016, he wasn't weak, he wasn't broken, he wasn't behind in life, he wasn't a failure, he was just like a rubber band, like just being pulled every which way, each time a different force applied. Yet still, no matter how long it took, just return to center. And looking back, like, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that pool now. All that life I lived, because I can finally see it for what it was, which was effort, not perfection, not grace, not even clarity, just pure effort and execution. And that deserves respect. That deserves grace. That deserves a seat at the table of my healing. I don't know why or what has gotten into me recently, but I'm on a fucking mission to deal with everything that's been unburying itself in me. I'm getting close to the end of this decade of my life. I keep talking about that. And I really want to seal the deal and seal this door at the end. And what that means and looks like, hell, who knows? But I'm actively attacking it. I say that, but this week has been really, really hard. I've really fallen off of so many of my like routines this week, and I'm really trying to pinpoint what it is so I can move forward from it. But I'm having a hard time figuring that out. Like, I've really felt like I'm just like in my head in outer space right now. But I know that everything that I'm need to be focused on is like right in front of me. And I got all these priorities lined out and these goals and these plans. And I'm doing them, but like I'm still trying to like get my head like back here. Like back Earth to Jermain. So let's talk about the real part of all this. The stuff I had to train myself to do. Because it's one thing to reflect on the past and cry to Adele while your grilled cheese crisps up. But it's another thing to butterfly net a spiral while it's happening and say, yeah, nah, not today. And that's the work I've been doing lately. I've learned that for me, I have to nip certain thoughts in the bud as quickly as possible. Because if I don't catch myself fast, I get lost very quickly. And once I'm lost, that rabbit hole appears. And homie, I've been known to dive head first. It starts with a little doubt, a little overthinking. Then I'm creating a whole fake situation in my head that never happened and may or may not come to fruition. Or I'm catastrophizing, convincing myself that everything's falling apart when nothing's even shifted yet. So lately, I've been implementing checkpoints. I'll ask myself, is this something I can do anything about right now? I said this before. Can I actively change the outcome in this moment? Said this before. And if the answer is no, I don't give it any more oxygen. Because I trust myself now enough to know if there was something to be done, I would have done it already. I repeat that because it's important. I don't want to live in that mindset anymore while I just let one thing ruin the rest of my mental state for the day. I don't want to be emotionally unavailable to myself because I let one inconvenient thought spiral into a whole false reality. This part of the rubber band method, like the analysis of it all, is not just recovering, but is learning how to regulate. Being able to sit with a triggering thought without letting it steal the whole show. And sometimes, for me, that means distraction. That means walking away. That means making a joke, redirecting your thoughts as quickly as possible. That means choosing something lighter, even if just for 10 minutes, so I can breathe and come back grounded. I read this article recently, actually, about something called lemonading. And it derives from the idiom, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? We all have heard it before. But it's this concept from psychology where when life gives you stress, you flip it into something playful or nourishing, right? So it's a shift in perspective, a kind of cognitive reappraisal, a way to lighten the emotional impact of hardships by focusing on opportunities for learning and moving forward. You don't suppress the feeling, but you pivot your energy to reset your system. And I realized I've been doing that naturally. Watching something stupid and funny, cooking something intentionally, playing music, moving around, telling myself, you don't have time for this shit right now, come back later. And it's been working. That's what's crazy. Like, it's been working, because that's the catch of all of this. It's been amazing how quickly I've been able to redirect my mind to not stress or have severe anxiety about something. I know it's not foolproof though, not by a long shot, but I'm really building with this, and it's a new tool in the tool shed. And I always imagine my mind, my spirit, my soul as like this unified rubber band that I'm tasked with returning to center as quickly as possible, so that the main plot of this whole movie isn't lost. When I get a flat tire, right, and I've had 5 in the past year, if you know, you know, I, as quickly as possible, lock in to get back on the road. I grab my spare, my jack, my 4x4, and I'm back on the road in 20. You almost have to do the same thing in life. Like, when something pulls you out of center, out of element, you just got to treat it like a Formula One pit stop. And I said Formula One because I just saw the movie, so now I have a bias against NASCAR. But yeah, I got to get back on the road. You got to get back center, back on track, back on the road as quickly as possible. And it's working for me because I really just used to stew forever at everything. For real. Now, I'm getting to a place where if I can't change it, if I can't do anything about it, if I'm still going to be okay tomorrow, we'll deal with it on the road. We just got to get back moving. And that's resilience in real life. Not just being deep all the time, but knowing when to throw some joy on top of a bad day, like seasoning almost. Like how to hard stop, pause, and then return. Take a little break. Sometimes your bounce back needs a buffer. A little bit of time in between before you're ready to go, and that's okay. Because now we have a workout, the rubber band workout. Here's when the metaphor gets real. Resilience isn't just a buzzword or hot topic, it's a muscle. And like any muscle, it needs training, because strength without recovery, that's just friction, not endurance. Cool. Strength needs elasticity built in, because the harder life pulls you, the more elasticity keeps you under control. Come on, stay with me. The harder life pulls you, the easier it is to keep yourself under control when you can build that elasticity. Research backs it too. I'm not just shooting off the top of my head here. Don't just listen to me. I'm just a guy. But I mean, there's been experts. Oh my God, I'm that person. Experts have said, I sound like Dr. Oz right now. I don't know why I always bring up Dr. Oz, but experts say that resilience is something that you build, not something you either have or don't have. It takes reps and an intentionality, the same way your arms and your legs do. Physical training does this too. You stress your muscles, they fray, they heal stronger than before. That's how strength, that last call, comes alive. Neuroscience even shows that resilient brains can shut off stress faster, almost like learning a shortcut in your head to get back to baseline. So it's not just me. Yes, strength needs resilience to activate. It's not just about pounding the weights or pushing through. It's about adapting, recovering, and coming back actually stronger. Your rubber band workout. These are your mental reps. Checkpoint questions. Can I fix this right now? Will it still be okay tomorrow? If the answer is no, drop it. And unless you'll still be okay tomorrow, that needs to be a yes. But the other two, no. For now, I don't let it stretch me out. I'm not letting it stress me. Then you have to take mental redirects and get some redirect tools, whether that's like cooking or walking or something quick to reset your energy. Not avoid, but just reset. Okay? You got to start like using logic over instinct, and that's really hard for me because I'm a very logical person, but I'm very emotional driven at the same time. So this is hard for me, but logic over instinct. That's why I have to ask these tough, blunt questions like, is this fear or fact? Most of us react to a story, not reality, including me, but I'm trying to learn how to break that cycle. Small wins. This is something I'm really learning in therapy and I don't take necessarily serious enough, but a task that I can finish quickly, like making my bed, responding to a text message, that load of laundry, just reminds me that I'm not powerless, that I still have momentum, that I still can get shit done. And then you have to use joy as a buffer, not toxic positivity, but intentional lightness. Watching something dumb, go dance outside, dance around, move your body a little bit, listen to some music. A metaphorical seasoning on a bruised day is what you need to bounce yourself back. Every time I do one of these, I'm working that resilience muscle. I become more elastic. I return to center faster. I trust myself more. That's the workout. That's the method. That's how you stay in the game. That's how you're locked in. Fourth quarter, straight juice, ready to go. Right? But what if you accidentally snap? Okay. Because look, I'd be lying if I said I've never broken. Clearly, we talk about that, but duh. This isn't some fairy tale story about how I've always bounced back perfectly. Hell no. Sometimes I did snap. Some people have witnessed that. But sometimes I got stretched too far. Sometimes I ignored the signs. I didn't regulate. I didn't pause. I didn't redirect. And it cost me, essentially. It cost me time that I was already panicking that I was running out of. It cost me freedom. Freedom to look stupid. To just jump and let the net appear. Like to take chances and real chances that I couldn't control the results of. It cost me experiences. I lived just so many great moments through this last decade that I have to look at pictures to remember anything about them because of how lost I was in my head throughout all of my most joyous moments. It cost me self-respect because I've always known that I love myself through and through without a shadow of a doubt. But it's sort of an abusive relationship when you love someone but don't trust them. So you micromanage everything and put them through constant scrutiny, disrespectful and degrading feedback about them until eventually one day they can't take it anymore. Realizing now that I was doing the best I could back then and that I always have and always will, told me that I never trusted myself because that should have been an in the moment feeling, not a realization upon review. And a huge part of me building resilience is trusting myself, having that core belief that I can and will get through anything that comes at me. That was my call to action, to trust. But Even when the rubber band breaks, it's not over. I always find a way to stitch it back together. You always find a way to stitch it back together. Think about your life and what you've been through and where you are today, and just every time you thought it was over. And yeah, every time it breaks, it leaves a little scar tissue, but you're a little tougher, a little less flexible maybe, a little less innocent at times, but also a lot more wise, a lot more grounded, a lot more equipped to handle the next pull. This is what people don't tell you about resilience. It's not just a feeling. It's a patch job. It's like a stitchwork sew. And you reconstruct yourself over and over, piece by piece, with no instructions. That's what I'm learning. I'm finding words to replace strength in my vocabulary because I have a bad relationship with the words strength and strong. That shit is an umbrella term that's often used to mask. At least for me it was. Like, strong is used to glorify suffering, to congratulate you for sucking it up and not complaining. Strength for me was always pretending nothing was wrong and just wearing a facade. Hashtag keep it pushing. But being resilient, I don't need to pretend I've never been stressed or stretched too far. That's not the goal. I just need to keep coming back, keep healing, keep stitching. And every time you do, you come back a little more yourself. Not just a version of yourself that's perfect or untouched, but a version that's been through something and came back anyway. That's the rubber band method. You've been doing it, but I'm trying to put a terminology to it. So yeah, if you're feeling stretched right now, good. That means you're still in motion. That means life is touching you. That means you haven't gone numb yet, and that's a good thing. I know we don't always like to stretch. I don't either. Some days I'm in the middle of something stressful thinking, if one more thing pulls me, I swear. But I've also lived enough to know that most of those I swear moments, I'm still here, still swinging. Maybe not always fast, maybe not always pretty, but eventually coming back. And that's what I'm learning to take pride in. Not the grit, not the grind, but the get back. I'm learning that I don't need to be strong in that classic sense. Not the strong that pushes through when they should have sat down. Not the strong that takes pride in being untouched or unbothered. I want to be the kind of strong that knows when to breathe. I want to be the kind of strong that knows when to say, this ain't mine to carry right now. I want to be the kind of strong that can say, yeah, that may have pulled me too far, but it didn't change who I am, because that's the difference. The stretch will come. Always. Life's going to apply pressure. Shit's going to shift. Things are going to feel heavier than usual out of nowhere. But it's not about whether you stretch. It's about how you return. And for me, the return is the practice. The return is the whole point. So whatever you're dealing with right now, if it's stretching you, cool. Just don't let it take your center. Don't let it make you forget what your balanced self feels like. Even if you have to crawl back to it. Even if it takes you 3 days longer than you want it. You will get there. You will get back. You always have. And next time, maybe it'll only take 2. That's the rubber band method. Stretch, pause, recover. Come back different, but still you. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening along to this episode and following through. Again, my name is Jermain. I will catch y'all in the next episode of It's Not That Deep. And please do some self-care this week. You deserve it.
Thank you.